Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that. What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? Footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump. So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Seem like this is the right strategy.
No, the
It says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
but I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing.
Barack Obama thought he was strutting onto a polished stage to buff his legacy, but he stepped right into Greg Gutfeld's comedy blender, set to obliterate. Picture bringing a water balloon to a fireworks show. That's the mismatch here. One guy tried to shield his cool, calm rep, while the other unleashed jokes so sharp they could slice through Secret Service shades. Buckle up, because this takedown turns roast battles into bedtime tales.
President Obama took another stand against evil yesterday, lashing out at ISIS, pernicious gang crime and human rights abuses in left-wing dictatorships like Venezuela and Cuba. I was kidding. He went after Fox News again.
Barack Obama's always been treated like the political Beyonce. No flaws, no cracks. Just coolness bottled up and slapped on campaign posters. A tan suit could spark headlines like a mixtape drop. He was the smooth talker, the hope peddler, the chill professor who convinced half the country everything would be fine as long as he flashed that smile.
It is a constant menu. They will find folks who make me mad.
So let's analyze. He says it's out of its way to locate and then demonize the poor. For what reason? So we can kill and eat them? His criticism is absurd because he never suggests a motive. FNC is always focused on policies that keep the poor, not the poor themselves. And that's scary to progressives like Obama who fear that their ideology will be exposed as the culprit behind so much present misery. Identity politics, welfare policies, and the white liberal addiction to social intervention has helped replace enterprise with entitlement. And that has hurt the poor more than street drugs or police brutality.
But coolness doesn't always cover the check's reality rights. That's where Greg Gutfeld storms in, wielding sarcasm like a chainsaw through Obama's shiny legacy. Obama's image hinged on presentation. He was America's cool dad, the guy who made you believe he could fix the economy and grill burgers simultaneously.
FNC is critical of policies. Obama portrays it as critical of people to save his beliefs from the humiliation they so richly deserve. Remember, it wasn't FNC who ginned up class warfare.
I think when you spread the wealth around,
We've got to ask the wealthiest Americans and biggest corporations to pay their fair share. This is the land of opportunity. That's great.
The speeches, the cadence, the perfectly timed pauses. It was all a Netflix cliffhanger designed to mesmerize. But peel back that polish, and you find contradictions stacking up higher than Obamacare forms. Greg Gutfeld nails those gaps without sounding like a dry lecture. Unlike some C-SPAN zombie droning policy, he lands jokes that stick. No charts needed, just one killer punchline, and Professor Cool's facade crumbles like a stale cookie.
Hell, way back when, even Obama had the stones to hit bin Laden. And remember who told him not to do it? Yep, Biden. Obama gave him a glass of milk and told him to sit down, which is a terrible. Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum.
Take foreign policy. Obama glided in on a Nobel Peace Prize, awarded before he'd even started. Imagine winning Employee of the Month on day one before finding the bathroom. Fast forward, and that prize aged like milk in the Sahara. Libya turned chaotic, Syria a disaster, and drone strikes multiplied like caffeinated rabbits. He was billed as the anti-war president, the soothing hand on the world stage, but ended up greenlighting airstrikes between Spotify updates. Gutfeld doesn't need a think tank to shred that. He just flags the absurdity. The peacemaker left a military highlight reel that made Bush look like a yoga pacifist.
Abdication of responsibility embraces the toxic retribution, thank you, retribution of Occupy Wall Street, there goes my tongue, which seeks equality by crushing everyone under one boot. As a class warrior, that's Obama's Common Core. Finally, he says we need to change the way the media reports.
What about those big revitalization and prosperity vows? He took office amid the 2008 wreckage, and sure, things didn't totally tank. But let's not pretend he turned America into an economic Eden. Growth crawled, wages flatlined, and the middle class wondered when this promised land would show. The recovery limped like a sloth on a treadmill, yet Obama's speeches painted him as single-handedly morphing America into Silicon Valley 2.0. Gutfeld cuts through with humor that bites because it's true. Obama's economic revival was like those as seen on TV gadgets. Dazzling ads, but once you got it, it barely worked and came with headaches you didn't sign up for.
Obama would take any responsibility if the good times were actually bad times. So it's like when you, if somebody comes into work and says, oh, that restaurant was amazing. I told you that restaurant was going to be great. But then if they came in to get food poisoning, I didn't say it was that good. So people only take credit. They never take responsibility. People should know that.
Right.
It's the story of your life.
All I do is take credit for the Greg Gutfeld show, Saturday nights at 10 p.m.
You take no responsibility for the horrible things you do.
His crown jewel, healthcare, was meant to be the masterstroke cementing his place in history. Instead, it became a bureaucratic Rubik's Cube. Some got coverage, but premium spiked, insurers bailed, and the website crashed harder than Windows 95. Obama promised a seamless revolution, but delivered a pizza ordering fiasco that rerouted to the DMV. Gutfeld doesn't need to stretch. It's already comedy gold. But Obama's real strength wasn't policy. It was branding. He wasn't just a president. He was a lifestyle, playlists, book deals, Netflix docs. He dove into celebrity culture like no predecessor, blurring governance with Hollywood until you couldn't tell if he was running a country or gunning for a Grammy.
Another interesting tweet you had recently was fracking is leading us to a foreign oil, but who's counting? Not Obama.
Did I tweet that?
Yes, you did.
It doesn't sound like me.
You did.
No punchline?
I think not Obama was the punchline.
Oh, really? Yeah. I always look at fracking as a solution to a number of issues. Jobs, creates jobs, and uses your dependence on the crazy people. That's good, and you have a lot of energy for the rest of your life. Like, how can this be bad?
Gutfeld's comedy hits hardest here. Obama's brand was a charisma-built house, fragile once poked. He notes coolness doesn't drop gas prices. Under Obama's 8 years, his party shed over 1,000 local, state, and federal seats. Not a thriving force under a strong leader, but a hemorrhaging mess hit by a cartoon anvil. Yet Obama exited with a Hollywood grin, Netflix deal in tow, while his party looked like a frat party aftermath, empty, broken, furniture gone. The man who promised a golden era left his party weaker. Unity vows left America more divided than decades past, and his different approach ran the same old Washington game, just with a better playlist.
Cheap natural gas, but he is terrified of, I think, the environmentalist factions in his own party.
Being not cool.
Yeah, being not cool. Right?
Thank you.
That was a good pencil. Yeah, no, he's scared. He is scared. That's part of the problem. Is environmentalism is perceived as a cool thing, even if you're wrong.
The funniest bit? Obama's myth lingers. Despite widening cracks, he hovers over politics, endorsing candidates, delivering speeches, playing the wise Democratic elder. Gutfeld flips that into laughs, casting him as a grad party crasher in a varsity jacket, reliving glory days. Once cool, now awkward. Obama was untouchable, but comedy doesn't care for polish. It craves truth. And the truth is, his legacy's messier than the media admits. The edits were flawless, the soundtrack perfect, the narration epic. But the full film showed the good stuff was just the trailer. Defenders paint him as a chess master, 10 moves ahead, sipping tea while plotting America's fate. Zoom out, and it looks less like grand strategy, more like a toddler scattering checkers.
The Trump administration today pushing back hard on former President Obama's assertion that he is the reason the economy is doing so well, not the current occupant of the White House. fight started yesterday when 44 tweeted somewhat out of left field, quote, 11 years ago today, near the bottom of the worst recession in generations, I signed the Recovery Act, paving the way for more than a decade of economic growth and the longest streak of job creation in American history.
Gutfeld revels in this. Obama's contradictions beg for mockery. He prided himself as a unifier to heal national wounds, yet left America like a dysfunctional reality show. Every dinner a civil war risk. Racial tensions didn't ease. They exploded, cities burned, protests raged, and the cooler often fueled smoldering fires. The irony's comedy gold. Unity promised, division delivered. Healer marketed, deeper scars left. Gutfeld doesn't need flowcharts. He spotlights the absurdity. The genius communicator often delivered everything but fixes, like a tricked-out smartphone that can't call. And the media? They treated him like a wisdom-bearing Olympian. Every word, joke, or wave hailed as groundbreaking, whether on policy or NCAA brackets.
So, does this matter?
Well, here, there's two weird things about this. Why is it, okay, weird Obama's doing this while all this other stuff is going on?
Right.
Like, shouldn't be helping out Joe.
Right.
Like, he totally ghosts Joe. I always say that he's like the guy, whenever you go to a party with somebody that you don't like and you're trying to lose them at the party, that's what Obama has done to Joe. He's lost them at the party, and now he's moving on, and then he tweets, and then you find out that he's tweeting about something else while you're at the party. And it's just, I think, kind of mean to Joe. Second thing is that it's part of that I told you mechanism that only happens when things are good.
The more you polish, the easier a sharp comic scratches it up, and Gutfeld does. He exposes the media as fan club presidents, not watchdogs. That blinds the public. Obama dodged flak that would have torched others because the narrative was different, special, cool. Drone strikes? But check his playlist. Massive debt? Nice 10 suit. Obamacare stumbles? He fist bumps late-night hosts. Gutfeld laughs at that double standard. His post-presidency proves it. Netflix deals, bestsellers, celeb cameos. He slid from politics to pop culture, already halfway there in office, while his party crumbled, losing seats like Vegas gamblers. State legislatures flipped, governorships vanished, and by 8 years' end, the party map was a wreck.
Fact. Obama's now a Republican.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions.
Kennedy, just watching that now, so that was 2011. Him and Trump are saying exactly the same thing, but he's not saying it as well. It's like he wasn't having fun with it.
It's like even the name of it, he was like, and we're going to call it cost-cutting commission because Joe Biden is going to be in charge, and everyone knows you don't mess.
Gutfeld mocks that relentlessly Obama as the guy who could sell you anything, even if it flopped. He embraced the celebrity role, hanging with late-night hosts, hooping with NBA stars, dropping DJ playlists. It made him relatable, but trivialized his failures. Gutfeld notes he traded statesman duty for influencer status. Charm fades, and Gutfeld's razor cuts through, showing Obama's legacy as a glossy billboard over an unfinished site. Past the hype, the reality's hilarious. A trailer for a movie that never matched its buzz. The crowd left entertained but unsatisfied, hoping for a better sequel. Gutfeld ensures no one forgets.